Now, when we're talking about swearing in teams, the first thing that we have to realize is it's not necessarily a bad thing. Swearing can be good in teams. And I'm not just making that up. There's research that has proven that swearing can make people stronger. It can increase their pain thresholds, and it can also increase trust in teams. So, swearing can actually help build trust. Now, the one thing that I've learned in leadership teams from 20 years working across Canada, Africa, and Australia, and doing research for 12 months when I wrote Teams That Swear, is that when it comes to teams that swear by each other instead of about each other, there are two capabilities that stand out that will help them do this. The first is around mature relationships. So relationships matter most in leadership teams. When they have high levels of connection and trust and psychological safety, it allows the team to use things like feedback and constructive conflict to do even better. The second component of higher performing teams is around clarity and alignment. Clarity in leadership teams creates cohesion. Ambiguity creates chaos. So when leaderships are very clear and aligned on things like their team purpose, their overarching objective, their roles and responsibilities, as well as the key behaviors that are going to drive the success of the group, it allows them to react and adapt much quicker and perform at a higher level. Now, when leadership teams can get those two things right, the relationships and the clarity, it allows their teams to shine. Shining teams innovate and influence beyond their industry, and it allows leadership teams and the CEO to focus on growth. Growth of the business, growth of their people, and growth of themselves. Now, the challenge for teams is if relationships aren't great, or if levels of clarity aren't high, bad things can happen. Spinning teams are an example when relationships are really good within a group, but levels of clarity are low. What this means in teams is that people get along really well, they're there to support each other and they work really hard, but oftentimes they're not clear on what they're working towards as a group. Or sometimes roles and responsibilities will overlap, or there's a gap. And what happens in these teams is over time resentment builds because everybody's working really, really hard, but they're not necessarily working towards something that matters. And what happens is the swearing in the team that starts to occur is swearing towards the leader because resentment builds over time because the team is not making a difference. As a result, the leader starts to question themselves and their confidence drops. They're asking themselves, what am I doing wrong? Another type of team in organizations is the self-serving team. Now, this is a team that looks like it may be performing, but the reality is that the relationships are poor in the team. And that leaves some people in the team winning and some people in the team losing. And from an organizational perspective, what that means is you get inconsistent results. For the leader of this team, what are they focusing on? Often they have to act as the mediator because there's issues within the leadership team that are not being sorted out on their own. So mom and dad have to come in and fix that problem. Now, the very worst team in any organization is a sinking leadership team. This is when you have poor relationships and there's a low level of clarity. Sinking teams are characterized by things like absenteeism, low energy levels. When you go to meetings, not many people are talking or challenging each other. These are the worst teams, and often what you find is that these teams are delivering issue after issue, and everybody is simply focused on getting by day. Now, the key to ensuring that relationships stay strong and that the high levels of clarity are there on a consistent basis is to put deliberate, intentional focus on strengthening the relationships and keeping clarity at a high level.